Yo, what's up guys? So I just recorded this gameplay. It's a very random game. I was trying out the Morgana reroll, and yeah, I think stay towards the end because it gets pretty spicy towards the end. And I had no intention of actually, forcing Morgana reroll, but I gotta admit I've been enjoying the build so far. So yeah, you can see here I got like a Senna and a Rengar, and I was kind of pivoting towards Slayers or maybe Executioners, but I was thinking, it's actually Scuttle Puddle, so I was thinking I could actually get some econ out of it. So as you can see, I'm like hovering around, thinking whether I want to sell, and my dumbass didn't actually sell the Senna. I put the Senna in actually, and I was like thinking, nah, maybe not put the Poppy, but nope, Senna went in instead, and I was like, damn it, couldn't get my econ. Then I counted 2, 3, 4, 5 for Rengar, 6 and 7 for Poppy, and 3 more for the Scuttles. So I quickly sold all of it, got my 10 gold, and I carried on. At this point in time, I had a Giant's Belt, so I was thinking, nah, maybe not Morgana reroll. But it doesn't seal the deal because it's a tank item, so which can still be used on Poppy. I did get another Poppy, and then I got a Morgana, and I was like, yo, is this for real? Am I really going to force this build? And I was thinking, if I'm going this build, I need a tier, right? So I sold the Senna, and I was thinking, okay, I will see what happens. And yeah, I was trying to get 20 gold as well, because I know that, the thing with Scuttle Puddle is that they don't attack you, so actually you can just put in one unit and just like slowly kill them off. Of course, everyone in lobby is gonna hate you for it, but it is what it is. Here I got a tier, and I was like, yo, damn, your boy be forcing this build, and this was the one that sealed my fate because I saw Prismatic Ticket and I was like, 1 cost reroll, Prismatic Ticket, sign me the hell up. I just wrote the other 2 just for fun, seeing if I could get anything else that's more worthy. I did consider the Radiant Relics, but I was thinking, yeah, you know what, Prismatic Ticket it is. And yeah, here I am with Prismatic Ticket. I threw in another Bastion just to let Poppy tank a little bit more, put the items on. At this point, my only concern was getting another tier for Morgana, and I knew it was pretty much possible because this build is pretty weak early game if you don't get your items and your 2-star Poppy and Morgana, because it's really very weak. It really shines in the late game once you get them 3-star, but early game it's pretty weak, so you're kind of guaranteed like first or second pick on the carousel. Yeah, so at this point, I think I was scouting the previous round just to make sure that no one was trying to force this build, because when you get contested for a 1-cost reroll, it kind of like shits on your odds a little bit. So yeah, at this point, just trying to survive, getting my best board and trying to get the best losses while maintaining a lose streak. I bought a Rust because the Bini Corp, and I decided I'm just gonna wait for, if no Bastion show up, I'm just gonna throw in the Rust. So yeah, this build actually is something that I came across online, and it's getting more and more popular nowadays. I did play it for a few rounds on stream, and it actually took off. I clutched first and second place for this build, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be maining this build from now on. Although it gets kind of boring once you keep maining it, but you know what? I got Prismatic Ticket, so might as well, right? So yeah, as you can see, other people's boards are a lot stronger than mine. This guy has a Gragas and a goddamn Vi, a 2-star Vi. I was really trying. I think the Bastion augment did help. The Bastion trait did help a little bit, and it allowed my Shyvana to survive a little bit more, allowing me a quick kill on the Skarner. I mean, ideally with this build, if you can't win, you just want to try and get the best loss possible ever, which is exactly what happened here, because only the Gragas was left. Honestly, I was a bit of a copium moment, because like I thought I was able to kill the Gragas, but yeah, he was left smiling his fat little belly. Yeah, just setting my build just to make sure that I got the correct one, because I saw in the shop that the game recommended Graves, which was totally not in my build. So yeah, there goes the Graves. Alright, so now I'm going to put in the Divinic Corp just to get a little bit more armor. It helps with Poppy because Poppy scales off armor, so it doesn't help a lot, but if it does help you to kill that 1 extra unit, then why not. So yeah, at this point, I think my goal here is just to survive. Still haven't gotten a 2-star Poppy, still haven't gotten a 2-star Morgana. I was starting to worry a little bit, especially since, you know, Prismatic Ticket, the rerolls can actually stack. And I wasn't exactly stacking rerolls. As you can see, I have like 1 reroll there. So just try my best to survive and see what happens. Savannah's doing a great job, by the way. Like, usually Bastions this early, they don't do much and they can't just die straight off. But Savannah was doing a great job there. I was hoping to get a 2-star, but I don't think I did in the end. So right here, as you can see, I'm second pick, third pick actually, but second to go on the carousel. So I was aiming for the fiddlesticks and I was kind of worried when that guy almost clutched the fiddlesticks, but thankfully I went straight for it, gun by ass there. I managed to get it. So yeah. And I was just scouting the board just to make sure that no one was trying to steal the units that I needed. I wasn't too worried because I think everyone else was trying to like level as much as possible. And I was still only level 4, which is quite a concern. And right here I get like a few units that I needed. A Poppy, Jax, and a Rust, which I don't think I bought anyway because I sold the Fiddle. Yeah, because I just used the Rust as a filler for Divina Corp. Use my reroll because I was thinking, you know what, I'm level 4, I'm slightly above 50 gold, let's roll one time to see if I can, you know, get a cheeky little Morgana or a Poppy, make them 2-star so I can increase my chances of survivability. Ideally, in this case, you still want to maintain your lose streak, which I should have done in hindsight because I slammed the blue buff on the Morgana thinking that it wouldn't be too powerful. I think it did a little bit more than it was supposed to, also because I added in the Jax as well. I swapped the Rust out for Jax. So that kind of like added on another Bastion to my team, which, yeah, as you can see here, they're doing a hell lot of work tanking everything. Morgana is just like deleting the back line. So yeah, that kind of put me in a little bit of a complex situation because I ruined my lose streak. And ideally, when you are doing a 1-cost reroll, you kind of want to get as much gold as you can as quickly as possible. But I wasn't too worried because of, like what I said, because of Prismatic Ticket. So it kind of like put me in a situation where it's free econ anyway. Since I was over 50 gold, I decided to roll a little bit, try and grab some Bastions on the way. Hopefully get a 2-star Morgana. As you can see, I got a 2-star Poppy. Somehow got a Jin before I even got my Morgana, which is kind of weird. I'm not gonna complain about that though. You take what you get, right? So yeah, still looking for that 2-star Morgana, hoping that I could clutch a win here, because, you know, I had a 2-star Poppy. Also a little bit worried because I didn't have much items. As you know, with the latest patch, they kind of reduced the loot odds that dropped from neutral rounds, and if you don't have items early game, you might not get your best in slot items for your units. I managed to clutch a win against this guy who had a brand, so when I first started the round, it was a little bit off, but Bastions managed to come in clutch again, so that's always good. We're going on to the neutral round right now, and this is where I actually kind of like roll a little bit because I have 62 gold with Prismatic Ticket. So I got a whole bunch of units, some of which I don't even have the levels to put them in. That goes to 2-star Morgana, which is awesome. So as you can see, the comp is kind of like ramping up a little bit because of all the low 1-cost rerolls. Ideally, I would love to get a 3-star Jax and a 3-star Poppy, of course a 3-star Morgana, as soon as possible. So rolling on 4 before you hit 5 is the best case here. Of course, that being said, next round I will be 8 out of 10 in terms of EXP, so next round would have to be virtually an all-in for me, to try and get as many 1-cost units as possible. Of course, it's still possible at level 5, but level 4 has a 55% chance of getting your 1-cost in. So here I am trying to roll down 80 gold as much as possible, and you can see I run into the very big dilemma of like trying to see which units I actually need. Like, do I really want the Jax? Do I not want the Jax? But priority here is your Morgana and your Poppy. So you do need those two to actually get the comp off the ground. Everything else is a good to have, but not necessary. So I was thinking here, you know, see, I saw the Shyvana, I was like, god damn it, do I really need it? Do I really want a 3-star Shyvana? And I was like, I kind of need the Jax. So I had 60 gold with prismatic tickets, so I was thinking, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna keep rolling. See, I got so many Jaxes, and I was like, yep, screw Shyvana. Since I'm close to Jax, I might as well just take the Jax. Got some Morganas as well. See, I'm so close to Morgana and Poppy, but I didn't dare to roll anymore. Because like I was worried that if I got like another Morgana or another Poppy, I wouldn't be able to pick it up because I'd have to sell either Jax, Jhin, or Galio. And Galio is kind of ridiculous to sell because he's a 3 cost. So yeah, I quickly slammed the Hex stack because I was actually saving it for Death Cap, the Rod for Death Cap, but I was thinking, you know what, might as well get an item up. Here I was trying to go for a Combat Augment because I did take an Econ Augment for Prismatic Ticket. I was really trying to find a Combat Augment, but I couldn't find anything. And then I realized that I actually need 1 cost champions. And then it hit me, I don't have space on my board. And then lo and behold, what made matters worse was that I rolled a Sejuani, a natural Sejuani. So here I was in the midst of everything, thinking I can't level and I can't get my units on the board. So I was thinking, what the hell do I sell? So I did the next best move, which was to swap out Jhin and for the Sejuani for 4 Bastion and sell the Jhin, losing 1 gold in the process, but hoping that I could actually, you know, clutch up and get the 3 cost, the 3-star 1 cost, which I did. As you can see, I managed to get my Morgana, my Jax, which cleared a lot of space out of my board. Quickly tried to sell as much of the units as I can from missed connections, and yeah, fill my board with the remaining units that I need, which is the Poppy. So I had 72 gold, sitting at level 5 here. At this point, I think the board's pretty okay, especially since I naturally rolled a Sejuani. So Sejuani is a unit that if you get her early, it doesn't really mean that she'll do a lot, because without Bastion, she kind of dies really fast. She doesn't even have time to get off 1 cast, and actually Sejuani gains a lot of value as long as she casts once in the fight. I did position a little bit wrongly here because ideally you want Sejuani on the opposite side of where Poppy and Morgana are, because Poppy and Morgana are supposed to target the opponent's backline, and Sejuani is supposed to stun the main secondary group of your whoever you're facing, which buys Poppy and Morgana time to actually hit the backline as much as possible. So yeah, I think I managed to squeeze in the Jhin, albeit a 1-star one. And my goal here was to actually econ back up to 50 gold, seeing as I hit all the core units I needed to, Jax being a bonus of course. And just trying to, you know, level as soon as possible, because I don't need any low cost units anymore. So ideally you want to get your 6 Bastion as much as possible, so that allows Poppy to be a menace when it comes to deleting a backline. You will see throughout the entire match that Poppy is actually hitting the backline for quite a chunk of health. Although I still need to, I mean, the guides that I've seen online say that you should position her on the same side as Morgana and at the corner of your board. But from what I'm seeing, a lot of people actually position her a little bit in towards the inner side of the board, because that allows you to hit the corner unit. If you position at the corner, she hits the middle back part of your opponent's board. So over here on the carousel, saw Sejuani, was really tempted to, but at the same time, it's kind of my mind telling me no, but my body says yes moment. I knew I needed tank items, so I was thinking, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go for a tank item. I'm just gonna grab Jax. Although a 2-star Sejuani this early would be so sweet, but I knew that wasn't gonna happen, especially if I wanted my Poppy to survive. Was gunning for a Warmog actually, but someone else took the Giant Spell. So at this point, I wanted to greet the Chain Vest for a Thorn Mail, because that would really scale off Poppy's damage. But at the same time, I was thinking, you know what, if I am really going to greed for it, it wouldn't really, you know, benefit me in the long run. So I was thinking, yeah, you can see I was hovering there, and yeah, I just slammed the Sunfire Cape on her. I think it's still useful because of the anti-heal, and because Sunfire contributes armor and health, which allows Poppy to survive a little bit longer, and it increases the damage a little bit, just a little bit. This guy got a little bit worrying because he did have like great items. Look at his Jarvan holding a Ginsu, IE, and Bloodthirster. Got me worried a little there. And he had a spatula on his center, which meant that he was probably going for a Slayer build. And if you go for 6 Slayers, it's actually, you can actually tear through your backline. And what I think would be the counter to my board, because the Z would essentially just go to my backline, just delete my Morgana, and that would be the end of my build, honestly. And I don't have a secondary carry here. So yeah, overall goal just to econ up as much as possible because I didn't need any units, and rolling for, you know, a 2-star Sejuani, a 2-star Shyvana, 2-star Galio wouldn't really be you know, increasing the power of my board overall. What would increase the power of my board would actually be getting my 2-star Sejuani, getting to 8 or 9, and hopefully just getting that Renekton and the Aurora in as soon as possible, just to round off the board. Because I think Aurora functions as a secondary carry to this entire comp. So as you can see, I sort of positioned my Sejuani on the opposite side, stunning the Annie, which was really good. But he had a Samira over on the other side, which my Poppy apparently is a paid actor and did not hit at all. So my Morgana tried her best. I think this didn't go my way because oh, it did actually. Wow. Okay, that was a clutch moment for Morgana right there. Yeah. So at this point, I was considering what's the next augment I needed to take, because I took 2 econ augments. So I was thinking, what do I want to prioritize here? Because I was lacking so badly in items, and I was like thinking, okay, if I take a combat augment, I'm probably gonna get shit on late game because I'm lacking in items. And you will see a very, I wouldn't say wise, but it's a little bit of a unorthodox decision, but it turned out well in my favor. So we're going on to the neutrals here, at the same time praying very hard that I at least get some tank items. I did get one of the hack documents, I think. I don't know what it is. The one that increases the size and health of a unit by 20%, which was awesome because I needed it for Poppy. Poppy has armor, but she lacks health, which this is great for. Not the best items. I was thinking whether I wanted to greed for a death cap on Morgana because I had one of the hacked items, which could potentially turn into a rod. Again, I was also thinking, should I make an Ionic Spark because Morgana is magic damage, and then I realized that actually Ionic Spark wouldn't help because the units that Morgana hits are so far away. So I was trying to find the best items, and I think the best combination I could think of was Archangels, and then wait for the Necrotron Cloak to turn into a Chain Vest and turn that into a Steadfast Heart, which would be the second item for Poppy. I think in the meta right now, seeing as items are like so hard to come by, you have to make do, and most of your tanks or your carries might not have your best slot items. For example, Morgana would do so much better with the Death Cap, but unfortunately, you know, I think an Archangel works well here as well, because Bastions really drag out the fight, so it allows her to kind of like ramp up the Archangels and stack up that damage, which actually played a vital role in the late game because some of the units that I faced off against were so high in health that thankfully Morgana came in clutch by having multiple, you know, abilities pop up on them. So yeah, this is where I kind of like was wondering, I needed to look for a combat augment desperately, but I couldn't find one. And I was like, this looks interesting. It's not a combat augment, but it does put me in a better situation if I manage to kill units, which will happen because Morgana actually kills backline units fairly quickly. So I was thinking, you know what? Yeah, sure, I'll do that. And hopefully my units can get some items which will allow them to survive even longer. Luckily, the hacked item changed into a Chain Vest, quickly slammed on the Steadfast Heart to Poppy, which does help because it gives armor, and it gives damage reduction as well, which is great for Poppy because she needs to survive as long as possible, while Sejuani actually stuns the other side of the board. I got a little bit worried here when I saw the 2-star Cho'Gath with gargoyles. But I knew that as long as Morgana hit the Seraphine in the back there, you look at the Seraphine with a quarter health. Oh, and luckily Poppy decided to hit the Seraphine again, which put me in a very good position because his carry is now dead. And yeah, as you can see, the augment's really paying off. My Shyvana had 2 Steadfast Hearts and 1 Shojin. Poppy did get oh, I forgot that item. I built it so much, but I forgot that item. The one beside the Steadfast Heart, the one that grants mana. And you got Declaw on my Galio, so that's all good. Yeah, so right now I'm at level 7, trying to get 8 as fast as possible, minimizing my rerolls and putting in 6 Bastion, which this kind of like soft caps my board because ideally you want to get 6 Bastion in for Poppy to deal the most amount of damage and for your board to last as long as possible. And since I was 8, I was trying to roll down, see if I could get another Sejuani, no Sejuani, and I was pretty sad. And then I got it just as the counter ran out, and I was like, damn it! And I ran into one of my moments where I was like, 3-star Sejuani? I knew it was going to be possible because I was on a win streak, 78 health, with Prismatic Ticket, high gold, and I was like, should I risk it for the biscuit? And I was like, you know what, let's not greed for this, I'll think about it later and we'll see how it goes. But for right now, I just want to try to hard cap out my board with Aurora and Renekton. So my goal was to get to 9 as soon as possible. And yeah, with this comp right here, I don't think I ran into any issues at all throughout the rest of the game. On the carousel here, still trying to get another item for Poppy because my Morgana's already capped out. And I was thinking, you know, what would be the best item? And I was thinking about Giant's Belt. I couldn't get that, so at this point I was really lost. I didn't know. I even wanted the Chain Vest, but God forbid the guy needed an Annie. So I decided to just take a Draven with a Rod. Because I was thinking, you know what, maybe I can do a Crown Guard if I'm lucky enough to get a Chain Vest during the last neutral round, because that's the last neutral round that you get components. The rest after that are all going to be full items. So yeah, and I was thinking, okay, should I roll or should I, you know, roll for something? Should I try and roll for Renekton here? And I was thinking, you know what, I'm on a win streak. I don't need to get units, might as well just level. So yeah, here I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to try and level to 9 as much as possible. I'm on the top of the board, man. I'm just autopiloting at this moment. Because this build, it's really good once you hit your soft cap. The 6 Bastion being the soft cap. And you just autopilot because Poppy just deletes everything off the board. Look at the damage she's dealing to the Vega at the back. That was quarter of his health from one ability. And then she smacks it again and then half health gone. Of course the Vega's trying to heal back. But it's no use because what Poppy doesn't finish, if you're lucky enough, Morgana casts fast enough and she hits the back line, and yep. The good thing about this build is that it is basically doing what assassins, or in this set, slayers, do while maintaining a safe distance. Because slayers go to the back line, right? Slayers go to the back line and they run the risk of getting hit by the opponent's carry because they are at an unsafe distance. They're too close to the opponent carry. So your slayers end up being hit, right? But in this case, Morgana's at the back. So she can safely cast her abilities while dealing damage to the opponent's carries. And Poppy kind of finishes that off while still maintaining a safe distance and being able to tank a shitload. So yeah, I think this build is actually pretty awesome. I'm surprised that not many people are actually maining this build right now. I did get contested one time when I played it. Out of the 4 matches I played, I got contested once and it wasn't pretty. The dude was actually high rolling a lot of Morgana, so he got a lot of Morganas earlier than I did. So yeah. I think at this time a lot of people are kind of like capping out their boards. You can see this guy here, this dude here has a Samira and a Brand with that Street Demon Strategist, one of the other top comms out in the meta right now. However, that's no match for my Poppy as it, gets bonked and Morgana finishes them off. I'm halfway to level 9, sorry. And it is a neutral round, so this puts me in a very good position because I can possibly just all in to level 9 later and just spend 3 rerolls hopefully to get a Renekton or an Aurora. At this point, I just want to do a little bit of scouting to see how people are faring. I was a bit nervous. This dude had like a 2-star Viego sitting there with 6 golden ox and a Samira at the back, which kind of made me sweat a little, not gonna lie. This dude was a big concern for me, as you'll see later on in the game, because he had Pandora's Bench, which if you manage to last till late game, it's actually really scary. Okay, so item wise, I was thinking what could I do. Was contemplating a Morello Novacon, but I saw a Giant's Belt on the anvil, and I had a Giant's Belt on my bench, and I was like, you know what, Poppy needs health, give it to Poppy. And I was left with a rod, which I didn't know what to do with. Yeah, so I was thinking what unit. I didn't want to overroll, so I was thinking, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna dump in Vex, because Divina Corp, even though it doesn't really help much, but it's still better than nothing, and it still doesn't put me. I don't lose out 1 econ on that, so I'm all good. This dude was playing Vanguard Marksman with an Annie, which is kind of weird. This was perfect positioning because I managed to hit Sejuani's stun on his entire back line, so they were frozen for quite a little bit. And yeah, as you can see, all my bastions are still alive, which is disgusting, because this build is just horrible in terms of like, you can't get past the tank line, the front line. It's so much armor going on that, you know, usually by the time the 10 seconds runs out for the armor and magic resist amplification for bastions, right? Because in the first 10 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, I think they get increased armor and magic resist. So by the time that runs out, actually half of your opponent's team comp is dead. So over here, I did manage to clutch a level 9 and get an Aurora and a Renekton. So I was sitting pretty actually. This is where the board kind of like, I wouldn't say hard caps out, because my Renekton and Aurora are still 1-star, but it kind of like, it's a hard cap. If you're asking why I put my Jhin in front, it's because Jhin had no value to me whatsoever, and I didn't want Renekton to have to walk like across the, you know, the Great Wall of China just to get to the opponent's board. So I decided, you know what, let's just put Jhin in front, because he's gonna die anyway. And yeah, this is where I got a little bit worried, because look at this dude's Leona, man. His Leona was not dying. He was 1 away from death, but at the same time, when I noticed that his Leona wasn't dying, I was like, holy horse balls. Like, this dude was so tanky. I swear if my Morgana couldn't target his backline, I would have lost that fight. Like, legit. This is the beauty of Morgana right there, because she's able to hit the backline even though you can't get past their front line. A lot of builds out there focus on getting past the front line before they are able to hit the back line. He would have survived, or even a top 4, honestly, if he actually you know, was able to deal enough damage to my front line. But that wasn't the case. I was just sitting here at 9, just trying to roll bit by bit, seeing if I could get like an Aurora or a Renekton. I didn't see anybody else holding on to them, so I thought I, you know, had a good chance. This guy with the Pandora's Bench did have an Aurora there, so I wasn't too worried. At the same time, I started collecting Sejuani's, because why not? And this was my first loss actually. This was the guy that you'll see later on in the game where I had a huge sweaty one-on-one with for the longest time. Not really longest time, but like, yeah, it was quite intense. It was quite intense. One of the most intense games I've ever played, honestly. But this time I was thinking, you know what, I don't need any more items. I might just get something that can round off the board, which was a Thief's Gloves. This guy decided to last minute steal it for me, even though he was 1 round from death, god damn it. So I decided, you know what, screw it, I'll get something for Aurora instead. So I got Nash's Tooth and just slammed it on Aurora. Had 60 gold with some free rerolls to spare, so I was like thinking, okay, you know what, this was a mistake that I made a little bit earlier in the previous round, where I tried to get Poppy. Sorry, I tried to get Renekton to chomp on Poppy instead, and that was a mistake because it reduced my Poppy's health to 60%, which is not ideal, even though it put my Renekton at high health. But Renekton doesn't have any items, so for Poppy to actually tank that damage is not worth it. I bought a Viego. Not because I needed it, but because I noticed the guy earlier. Yeah, he was holding on to Viegos right there. You can see he was trying to get a 3-star Viego, and that was very, very worrying for me because I was in a very good position to clutch first place. But at the same time, I didn't want this dude to like start collecting Viegos and then end up with a, you know, 3-star Viego and then just ruin my whole day. This one, I think I lost. Yeah, I lost because Street Demon, Brand with a guard breaker. I think that's not fun. I think he must have hit my Poppy and then he gained like the 15% damage amp every time because Poppy's shield is consistent. Yeah. So I'm still holding on to the Viego at the same time trying to get some Sejuani because I realized that no one was holding Sejuanis. At this point, there are only three people in the lobby. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm still in a pretty good position as long as that dude doesn't get a, you know, a 3-star Viego. And I was repositioning because I knew who was fighting and I was like thinking, okay, maybe I could like get his Annie first. There's a big mistake there. As you'll see in a few seconds, it's a big mistake as to why I even bothered to reposition. I shouldn't even have bothered. Because I was looking at my left side and I was thinking, okay, I got this as long as it hits the Annie. And then I looked at my Poppy's HP and my Poppy just got deleted. Like in the first 5 seconds. And I was like, dude, what the hell, man? His Annie was still full health. And his Tibus annihilated my Morgana. And then I realized the dude has a 3-star Annie. The dude really kept off. He's gonna win. And I was like, no way. Am I really gonna lose this match because I lost out to a guy who managed to get Annies? So I was pretty worried. I had 36 health to play with and 57 gold. I was 3 Sejuanis off. No, 4 Sejuanis off actually. So I was thinking, what should I go for? Should I go for, you know, an Aurora? Should I go for 2-star Aurora? Should I go for a 2-star Renekton? I mean, sorry, should I go a 3-star Aurora or a 3-star Renekton? Or just try for Sejuani. That was my best bet because Sejuani was the only 4 cost on my board. And she would actually help me to win the game if I could get her to a, you know, a 3-star. This right here was a very clutch moment because I thought I was going to lose, but Poppy, lo and behold, you clutch goddess, you came through. Also because of Sunfire, I think. That was something that really helped. So I managed to make it past that, survive one more round, live to tell the tale. And I was rolling like crazy here because I desperately wanted to get the Sejuanis as fast as possible. If I didn't, I knew that I was screwed. So I was also contemplating a 3-star Aurora or a 3-star Renekton depending on what I could get. I couldn't hit any before 50 gold, so I was thinking, you know what, let's just get a bit more tank. I was hoping to face off against the guy in 3rd place because at least that would mean that I eliminate him and it will leave me, you know, more time to face off against this guy who has 35 health. As you can see on his board, he's trying to collect Samiras, he's trying to collect Viegos. That's why I'm still holding on to the Viego. He's also holding on to Urgots and Kobukos because of his Pandora's bench. I did manage to win a little bit against him, but of course the Annie was too much of a beast. I think Poppy couldn't even touch her. So, because probably died before that. So this dude went up against my Ghost, which he won for some very weird reason. Shouldn't be the case. I got a Sejuani, I was really happy. I was 3 off and I was beginning to frantically roll like a madman because I wasn't sure if I would be able to survive one more round because 18 health on stage 6, sorry. Got an Aurora and I was like, oh my god, is the dream gonna come true? Am I gonna get an Aurora? 2 Sejuanis off, still rolling, 1 Aurora off, and it was getting really sweaty. I was like, you know what? Screw the Renekton. And I was like, oh, can I make it? Nope, I didn't manage to make it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Sell the Viego since he already has a 3-star Annie. He's not gonna go for it anymore. I faced off against this guy, which I had no issues and was totally confident of beating because, you know, I think this build really goes really well against Street Demons because of the armor. So Brand doesn't do as much damage as he needs to. My Morgana came in clutch, hit the Brand a few times, and Aurora came in, deleted the backline. I don't think I managed to win this, unfortunately. Yeah, because Nico was too tank. I did kill his backline, but my backline couldn't kill his frontline, which was sad. As you can see, my bench is like all sorts of ways right now. Like I was in a panic mode with 13 gold, and then I hit the lo and behold the magical 3-star Sejuani. It was pure bliss at that moment. I was so happy. I was like, oh, I finally stand the fighting chance. And then I was like, looking at the stun, and I realized that it stuns him for 8 seconds. So as long as I position this dude on the same side as his Annie, I am pretty much solid. And I was scouting his board, just seeing whether he would swap positions. I tried to put it on the left side so that he'll stun his Annie. As you can see, it pulled off fantastic. I don't know why his Kobuko is at the back though. Probably he needed like a unit to put in. So he just put it there. Kobuko is not doing enough damage. Look at the stun on the Annie. The Annie was stunned for a pure 8 seconds and the Annie can't do anything. And that's what ramps up his entire comp. So the Annie keeps getting stunned again and again and again, and the Annie's pretty much useless. Yep. If it were, I think if it were any other 4 cost, I probably wouldn't have pulled it off. But because it's Sejuani and she managed to stun the backline twice, it's a perma stun basically because she keeps casting. Yeah, so at this point I was like, what I want to do, I kind of need like something, damage, healing, anything. I was thinking, okay, you know what? Screw it, I will go for the Gragas. I couldn't grab it in time. I couldn't grab it in time, so all I got was a lousy chain vest, which I just threw on Aurora. In hindsight, I should have put it on the Sejuani or anyone else for that matter, but at that point I was in a frenzy. I was trying to get that last Aurora. I had 12 gold. I was trying to roll down because I knew that if this dude got his Viego first, it would be a nightmare. And I knew that he was going for a Viego, and I accidentally sold the Viego thinking that he didn't need it anymore with a 3-star Annie. But once he saw that I got a 3-star Sejuani, he started collecting Viegos again, which really put me in a very panic situation. As you can see, both our benches was crazy. We were 1 Viego off and 1 Aurora off, and I had 2 gold. And the only advantage I have here is that I have prismatic ticket, which allows me to roll a little bit more than he can, which means that if I get a Viego in my shop, I can just hold it there. I don't have to buy it, I just hold it there. Yeah, so this was probably like the last round, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this was the last. Is this the last round? I can't remember. But yeah, I was trying to roll like crazy. Prismatic ticket really helped a lot here because it kept giving me free rerolls. I wasn't looking for Aurora as much as I was looking for a Viego, because I knew that if I could get a Viego, I would secure a win. And I was thinking at this point, it's like, please. He was trying to sell units on his board just to you know, he even sold his Golden Ox just to get econ for it. He nerfed his board just because, and I think that's what made him lose, because he was trying to sell his units to like just roll down for a Viego. In hindsight, he should have done that. I should have done that actually, but I didn't want to risk losing because I knew I was going to win as long as I kept perma stunning his Annie. It was a risk to take, but yeah, it turned out great. I was really happy with this win, and yeah, I'm really glad that was a great game, man. 4 cost 3 stars and an almost 3-star 5 cost. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.